What is up, guys? Welcome everyone to a new gold making video. So this one is going to be about the TSM add-on or the Trade Skill Master add-on, and basically we are going to see how to properly post items in the auction house, such as transmogs, toys, mounts, and all that type of stuff, right? So basically, first of all, you will need to have the TSM desktop application installed. It's really easy to install. You just go to the website, you just register, and then you just download the exe and all of that. And once you have all of that and you have the exe running, you also need to go to the settings in the desktop application and check the realms, because you want to have the realms that you are currently playing on, so that you have all the data available and not just the region-wise data, right? So that's the first thing you want to do. And once you have that, in order to get into the auctioning, so here, for example, I have some operations, okay, for auctioning. The one that works by default is this one, the one with the hashtag default. So let's basically go through each of the values. Let's explain them in detail, and from there you can decide already, like, what you wanna use as prices or whatever, no? So basically, the first value, auction duration, is self-explanatory, right? Just keep in mind that the longer you put the auction duration, also the deposit costs are gonna be higher. But usually, if you're like selling, like, old content transmogs or any pet, basically at any expansion, they are all really cheap, so it's usually fine. It's no big deal. So you can leave it on 48 hours, yes, right? So then we have the post cap. This is basically a limit of the number of items you wanna post on the auction house. I have it on the max because, like, I don't really wanna limit myself of posting items. Amount kept in bags, this is the same. I don't wanna keep any items on the bags. And then this one, it says, by the way, if you just leave 0, it's just gonna disable it, okay? And this one is the same. If you leave it on 0, it's just gonna disable it. So basically, this one is like when an item has expired many times because you have not sold it yet. With this, it will no longer be posted on the auction house, which I think it's irrelevant, because, like, what do you wanna do with it? Do you just wanna vendor an item that's like almost any item that's like a transmog pet is pretty much worthless on the vendor, but you might sell it for a good price, right? Sometimes these things take really long. Like on average, selling transmogs is really slow. So overall, my advice is just to leave this on 0, so it's disabled. Then we get to the posting price. So here we have these two fields. Basically, you don't want to modify them because this one is just for actually doing bits. No one uses bits anymore. And then the undercount amount, this one is 0C, which is like 0 copper. Which is right, because you don't want to undercut anybody, because the auction house already prioritizes whoever posted, like, the item the more recently, right? So there's no point. And then we have these ones: the minimum price, maximum price, and normal price. I already added some for reference, but basically let's talk about the maximum price and the normal price first, because those are the easiest ones to explain. So the maximum price is basically, just imagine that you are gonna sell a sword on the auction house, and there is just one guy selling that sword already, and he's selling that sword on a crazy amount of gold, like he's selling it on 5 million gold. But then you check the item, and the region sale average of that item is only 100 gold. So the chances of selling 100 gold worth of an item at 5 million gold is super low. Like, nobody is ever gonna buy that, right? So basically, all you need to know there is that all you need to know is that nobody's gonna, like, ever buy that. So you wanna try to find a middle point, because if you see it like, okay, there's a guy that is selling super expensive, but I mean, doesn't mean that we just have to sell it on the DB region sale average. Like, doesn't mean we just have to sell it at 100 gold in the example, right? What I will do personally is, like, try to maybe post at, like, I don't know, 500 gold, 1000 gold, maybe 5000 gold, somewhere around that, but not 5 million gold, because that's never gonna sell, right? So basically, that's gonna be the maximum price. The maximum price is like, okay, if there's like the cheapest available on the auction house of an item is super expensive, let's find like a lower limit, like a lower price, that we can still benefit ourselves of basically having no competition for that item. Or, well, we do have competition, but it's just some crazy competition, because, like, they are not really competing, selling a cheap item for 5 million gold. So you can almost see it as if basically you are not competing with anybody, and you can just put a somewhat high price, right? a reasonable high, but like still high in comparison to the DB region sale average. So for example, I will do that. No, I will do DB region sale average multiplied by 10. So in this case, what this is doing, this max, okay, this is basically taking the biggest of these two values, okay. Sometimes this one is gonna be higher, the 3000 gold, or sometimes it's gonna be this one, okay. Just gonna take the highest. You can also do mean, depending of what you wanna do, but overall max is what I use the most. And basically, basically if you're selling a really cheap item and you have no competition, like for example, let's see, this item, this tower, right? It says 130 gold region sale average. If there is no competition, you can sell it on 3000 gold, because even if it's like, what is it, like almost 30 times, no, the amount of the DB region sale average, in this case, it's still such a low amount of gold that the chances are that if somebody really wants that item, he's gonna still pay it, because it's still not a lot of gold. 3000 gold. Like a lot of people have 3000 gold, and a lot of people, if they really like this item, they are gonna just buy it, right? So yeah, pretty much that. That's for the maximum price. Then the normal price, to me, it doesn't make any sense that it's called normal, because it's not any normal. It's basically quite similar to the maximum price. In fact, I usually use the same value for maximum price or normal price. What this is basically gonna do is like, okay, if there is no competition on the auction house, okay, like what price do you wanna put? Well, I follow the same theory as if we have, some crazy guy selling it for a crazy amount of gold. I will just be like, okay, let's put a high price, but like a reasonable high. So basically, I'm just using the same as you can see in maximum price. Also here on maximum price, you can do a few things here, but just not to complicate things, just leave it on post on maximum price. And that's probably like the best way to do it, right? So now let's get into the minimum price. Okay, so the minimum price is basically the cheapest price that TSM is gonna allow you to do for an item. Okay, so basically this is what it's doing right now is like, okay, this is gonna take the max of the DB region sale average multiplied by 2 or 500 gold. So if we have to apply this formula to this item, to this tower, okay, it's gonna either it's gonna try, the first thing it's gonna do is gonna try to do the DB region sale average multiplied by 2, which will be 130 multiplied by 2 is 260 gold. It's still below 500 gold, so it's basically gonna sell this item on 500 gold, which is personally what I like to do, because this like these cheap items, you can sell it always for a bit more. Like you can sell it for a few times the region sale average easily, right? So in that case, it's fine. However, if it's a more expensive item, think of of an item that's maybe like 10k gold. What I will do with this is that I will be selling it at 20k gold as a minimum price. And by the way, the reason I do this is because I'm on a myth population realm, and myth population realms basically have usually less competition and the prices are higher. So I don't really like to sell it on the DB region sale average there. I usually keep as a minimum double the DB region sale average. Okay, that's pretty much why. So now that we have explained all of this, let's also talk about this. So this one is really important. When it comes to minimum price, we can either post them at minimum price, which is pretty much the one you can always use when you don't know what to use, or you can use don't post items, or you can also use ignore options below min. So this one I really like it, because basically what this is gonna do is when TSM is scanning, it's gonna basically ignore any competition below your given price. So let's say that we are talking an item, let's say that it's end up being like 500, the minimum price, 500 gold. And let's say that there's one guy selling on the auction house that's selling the item for like, I don't know, for like 500 gold, and then there's another one for 600 gold. So what this is gonna do is this is gonna try to undercut the cheapest guy. I mean, the guy that is posting the cheapest, but is gonna ignore the one below 500 gold. So if the guy that is selling for 400 gold is gonna get completely ignored for TSM. So TSM is not even gonna basically like see it, and it's gonna be like, okay, so what's the cheapest? Because 400 gold, I don't see it. So what's the cheapest? The cheapest is the next one, which is 600 gold in that case, and that is fine because that's already in our threshold, it's above for minimum price. So then your item will be posted in that case at 600 gold, which is good, right? So yeah, that's really recommend you to use this one, to be honest. Ignore options below mean. Many people don't even understand this one, and it's really good. It's really good. So yeah, then that's pretty much the entire explanation. Then you can also do groups for items with TSM. TSM gets really complex, and we could get into a lot of detail, but that's pretty much the short explanation for it, the basic guide for it, right, for posting transmogs and such. So anyways, that's pretty much it. I hope you found this video useful. If you want to see more videos like this, please consider dropping a like, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.